Hey everybody, it's Rebecca with a K. Just a reminder to go on www.shopGNellenCollection so you can get your own bottle of Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. It goes on everything, literally everything. I put it on salad, I put it on fruit. Of course, you can put it on your meats and your vegetables. Again, that's Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. Grab your bottle at www.shopGNellenCollection.com.
Welcome to the P.T.S.D podcast with your host, comedian and military veteran, Bernard the Laugh Therapist Hines, where we discuss P.T.S.D, processing traumatic situations differently, and give you tools to help you overcome the stigma of seeking help. If you're ready to be inspired, then welcome to the stigma-free zone. Here's your host, the Laugh Therapist himself, Bernard Hines.
What up, good people? What up, good people? This is your boy, Bernard Hines, a.k.a. the Laugh Therapist. And listen, thank y'all for being here today on this podcast interview. Y'all, it is beautiful. I love what I do. I love that God gave me this opportunity to do this, we call PTSD, processing traumatic situations differently, y'all. And I have beautiful friends that have said they will come on, they would give their story, they would do that. But I want to give one disclaimer, y'all. This podcast is not intended to replace professional or medical advice. All right. If at any time you are feeling triggered, please take a break. Okay. We don't want to be triggering nobody, but we want to be able to give you some real life experiences of people that we have. And on today, I have a good friend of mine, Miss Keisha Bruington. I'm going to bring her on right now. What's up, Keisha?
What's up, Bernard? And it's brewing.
That's it. That's what I said, Bruington. That's what
you said.
That's what I said. I keep telling y'all this Norfolk Public School education. If I just stick with people and just say their first name, that'd be good. But listen, how you doing on today?
I am doing good, Bernard.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here, coming off your vacation of vacations, boy. Listen, y'all, when we talk today, this woman, she is the self-care queen to me. She is the self-care queen. But I'm going to tell y'all how we met. All right, I was doing comedy at the VA hospital, and it was one of them comedy where the people were forced to come on their lunch. They were forced to come on their lunch, and I know for a fact, she can say whatever she wants to say, but for a fact, I bombed. I know I bombed. And she came up to me, and what did you say?
I said you did a great job. You did not bomb. Mm-hmm. You did not bomb. You did a fantastic job. I even came up to you. Like, I'm not going to do that if you weren't good. I told you, yeah, you were amazing.
I thought you came to get your money back, and it was free. I was like, she come to get her money back.
No, you were. I had to come meet you. I was like, who is this guy?
And that was in 2016, 17.
No,
and been 2016, 17. We've been rocking ever since. Ever since.
But you gotta say how not only did I come up to you, but I shared with you how you needed to be doing this full time. And
yes,
look
you
at
did.
You now.
Yes, you
look
did.
At you.
Yeah. That's what she said. Yeah, she
Look at
said,
you walking into your purpose.
Hey, because I got good friends like y'all who are walking in their purpose. Okay? So right now, tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Well, like you said, my name is Keisha Bruington.
Bruington.
I'm 53 years old. I'm mom of 3 kids, and I am a survivor of domestic violence. I have been diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety, military sexual trauma. And through all of that, I am a survivor. And I am not only living, I'm thriving.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I'm sorry that you had to go in the Navy because you should have came into the Army. But
I'm not even going to say anything about that.
Yes,
oh, my God. I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yes, you are a Navy veteran, correct?
I am a Navy veteran.
That's great, great. So we give it up for all of our veterans, y'all. We giving
Yes, we
all,
do.
yes, yes, yes. And
We are
we're
all
gonna,
in this together.
yes, we're gonna jump right into this interview, okay? And I want to ask you this one: what inspired you to speak out about your mental health struggles?
Bernard, this has been a long time coming. Like,
Okay.
this has been 25 years in the making. So
Wow.
it's really full circle for
Okay.
me. So I would say 25 years ago, I didn't know that I had an issue.
Mm.
So I've seen other guests on your podcast. Matter of fact, Nisha, the girl
Mm-hmm.
that you just had talking about domestic violence. So what happens is when you finally decide to leave the domestic violence situation, you think that, okay, I'm leaving, it's over.
Right.
I got out of that situation and it's over. Well, I started working at the VA, at the Hampton VA, and my boss, which I will not name, his supervisory style included yelling,
Mm.
threatening, and just passive aggressive type supervisor,
Okay.
manager, you know? And I was working for him, and I immediately was in fight or flight every day. Every
Wow.
time he talked to me, I was
Right.
like running away from him. And he would say, "Well, I'm going to write you up if you keep leaving my office if I'm talking to you." And I would say, "But you're yelling." And I didn't know why my body was responding.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I
Fight,
literally
flight.
would have a panic attack. I
Mm.
would like run away from him. Like, I would run. I would just like go in my office and I would
Right.
cry. And I was like, "What is wrong with me?" So, I started therapy at the VA, and this is way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to my therapist, I would go to her distraught. And
Wow.
she's like, "You have PTSD." And I was like, "No, I don't.
Right. Right.
No, I don't." That's like war stuff. She's like, "No, you're re-experiencing
Mm.
the abuse with your boss yelling
Wow.
and at you." And he didn't just yell at me. That was just his supervisory
Soup.
style.
Okay. Okay.
That was just his style. So it wasn't personal
Right.
against me. But I was the only one who was reactive.
Correct.
So I would go to her and I would cry like every day. And when she finally diagnosed me with PTSD, I was like, "Give me a pill,
Mm.
make it all go away."
Mm.
And she was like, "No,
No.
you got to do the work." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "This is going to be a lifelong work for you."
Wow.
And I was like, "No, just give me a pill and
Right.
make it all go away." And that was the beginning of the stigmatism, is that I
Okay.
was working full time. I don't look like,
Like, yeah, I've had that too.
I have all of these ailments.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what's the problem?
Right.
And what made it so bad for me is that I had a job that included me to be out front, to be a
Mm.
speaker, to be in front of people. So what I would do is I would go put this mask on, do my presentation, and then go in my office and fall apart.
Good gracious. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things you had to make yourself show up.
I had to, but it was killing me inside because
Right.
when you do that, it suppresses all that, but then your body starts responding.
Correct.
You start having panic attacks, you have chest pains, you're hyperventilating. So that was me at work, showing up with a smile
Mm-hmm.
and then going into my office after and falling apart. And I was just like, people would be like, "What's wrong with you? You look fine."
There you
That's
go.
the part right there
There
that
you go.
really made me say, "You know what? This is bigger than me,"
Correct.
especially in the African American community.
That's right.
We don't talk about this
At all. That's right.
at all.
That's
We
right.
do not talk about what mental health looks like. You don't have to be rocking in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
walking outside naked.
Mm-hmm.
You can be looking just like this
That's
and
right.
still having your whole world fall apart.
Turn upside down. Because
Yeah. So real. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, because we have been trained and we have been taught to show up regardless.
Regardless.
You know what I'm saying?
Regardless.
And that
Yes.
right there can add trauma onto you. Like
It adds
I have to go into this situation knowing what I'm going to get.
that part. And for me, it was twofold because one, I was working full time
Okay.
in the midst of me being diagnosed, which was
Okay.
very difficult, but
Mm-hmm.
I was still expected to show up. And then two, I feel like I needed to speak out because I almost lost my life to domestic violence. So
Okay.
because God saved me, it was like, okay, I'm gonna save you,
Mm-hmm.
but you gotta help somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Let
that's kind of how I got here. Fast forward 25 years
correct.
later.
Now, how did that feel for you being diagnosed at your job? Meaning people might, can know, understand, or people who don't understand what PTSD is. And how did that feel?
It's difficult to be a veteran working at the VA,
Okay.
especially if your boss is the culprit. But
Mm.
I would say that I was surrounded, and I say this very lightly because I know a lot of veterans don't get the kind of care that I have received and continue to receive.
Right.
I've heard the horror stories of veterans not getting the care they
Mm-hmm.
need, but that wasn't the case for me. I was surrounded by a team of people
That's good.
that protected, pushed, fought for
Good.
my wellness.
Okay.
And so that helps me tremendously. Like, imagine working at the VA and I could just walk down the hall and go to a therapy appointment.
Right. Right.
Like, if I'm having a moment, I could be like, hey, Dr. So and so, can you see me for about 10 minutes? She'd
Correct.
be like, yeah, come on through. So for me, it was twofold because I had people in my office who were like, well, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this?
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
also had a treatment team that was like, come on, we got you.
Wow.
Anytime you need it, you come down here and you see us.
See, I know working for the federal government, I had some people at the job that they had like free leave to go to their appointments, their VA
Yeah.
appointments. I didn't have that at first. So I'm taking off leave. I'm taking
But
leave
yeah,
days for my appointments. And I really had no self-care days to just take leave
take the
because I had
lead.
so
Yeah.
many appointments. And
So many
that was
appointments.
stressful.
But did you work for the VA or a different agency?
Now I work for the Department of the Army.
See, it's easier working for the VA because
Oh,
you're
of
right there.
course. You right
Yeah,
there. You right
you're
there.
right there. I'll be
Yeah.
like, I'll be back.
There you
You
see.
know, just like people go on a smoke break, I'm going on a mental
Come
health break.
come on now. And I used to take my
Okay.
mental health break. They use smoke,
Yeah.
they go smoke, I go
Right.
smoke. Smoke my brain.
Yes.
My brain won't be smoking. I tell you that much. Listen,
Yeah.
y'all. We talking to Miss Keisha Bruington over here on the
That's
podcast,
right.
PTSD
So,
podcast, and she is just breaking down some things. She has been breaking down some things, but I want to ask you this one question: how have you found ways to cope with and manage your mental health struggles?
well, let me go back a little bit. So when I
Okay,
was working at the VA, I was struggling.
okay,
And because I had a really good treatment team, they wanted me to get reassigned from
mm,
that boss.
okay,
So they reassigned me. They actually sought out a boss that had a temperament that I could work for.
okay,
They wanted me to be in my own office. They
mm-hmm,
wanted me to have reduced hours. I
okay.
mean, this is like a whole thing. I was like, okay, so I
That's
can do this.
beautiful.
So I went to this job in research administration, reduced hours, great boss, all these things. I'm like, okay, I'm like, yes, I
Right.
can do. However, the job itself was a full-time job.
Mm,
So I'm working part-time in a full-time job where the work is still expected to be done. So I'm just like, okay, but I'm part-time. They expect me to travel, they expect me to present, expect me to do all this work and reduced hours. So even though I didn't, so here we go again, stress.
right.
I'm in
Stress.
my office like the work's piling up and I'm just sitting here, not
Right.
doing a thing every single day. So on a Friday, I walked out of that office and I said,
Mm,
I'm never coming back.
wow.
Had two kids and a mortgage. And I said, I'm not going back.
You took care of
I
yourself.
I took care of myself. And I have been writing down in my journal,
Okay.
like every day, God, I just need time for self-care. Like I can't do this being a single mom, working full time or then part time and then trying to take care of myself.
Correct.
So I didn't really know what was going to happen. Like after I left on a Friday, I didn't quit. I just
Okay.
didn't come back. I didn't quit. I
You
just didn't come back.
you know what? I did. We got a great story because I did that
We have
with
a
my
great
government. I
story.
just left. Yep.
Yeah, you just leave and you don't quit though.
Right.
So luckily I still had friends that worked in human resources
Okay.
and they said, you can apply for retirement. And I'm like, how? I'm not even 40 years old. I only have 7 years on the books. And they said you can apply for retirement. And so I was like, you know what? What could hurt? I'm gonna apply
Mm-hmm.
for retirement. They approved my retirement.
That's
And when I
see.
tell you that I had the Holy Ghost in the front yard when I got that piece of mail,
I know
because it
you
took
did.
about 3 months. it took about 3 months for them to process the retirement. And what I'm so grateful for is that I still had bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many leave donations from people I didn't even
Right.
know
Yeah,
that
you told
covered
me
me.
about that.
Yeah, that covered me. They had so many
Correct.
that there was so many donations that when I finally got approved, they got their leave back.
Wow.
That's how I got, yeah, and I didn't even know that that was even a possibility. So once was able to retire, um, I dug in deep. Now let me
Okay.
go back. When I was still working, I asked my boss if I could go to a 30-day women's recovery trauma program in Bay Pines, Florida.
Okay.
And they were like, yes, we'll approve your leave for you to go to that. So I'm thinking I'll go to this 30-day program. It was inpatient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna be healed, and I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna be this new woman. Well, that was the breaking. They broke me in that program, but I still was a mess. They broke me because we had to do things like we had to write our trauma down
Okay.
and read it out loud to strangers over and over and over again.
Wow. So hold up. Was this a
Yeah,
breaking in a good way or breaking in a bad way?
it was breaking in a good way
Okay.
that because I was still struggling, even
Okay.
though
Okay.
they reduced my hours. I'm now retired. I mean, I was still struggling.
Right.
Like
Okay.
I still wasn't getting any relief, even
Okay.
though I wasn't working. And so the breaking was that the Band-Aid had gotten ripped off.
Mm. Come
Yes.
on now.
So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this program and I'm gonna go back to Virginia. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be healed. Man, got back here 2 days later, I was right back to where I started.
Wow.
But the fact of me having a good treatment team here, they're like, you got to dig. Now that the band-aids ripped off, we're going to dig in.
Okay.
And when
Okay.
I tell you what digging in means for me is I have taken DBT, which is dialectical behavior therapy,
Mm-hmm.
CPT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. I've had exposure therapy. I've had radical acceptance. I've had mindfulness therapy. I've had emotion regulation therapy. So when I do those groups, they're like 6 or 8 week groups,
Okay.
it still wasn't clicking.
Right.
So guess what I did? I retook them again,
Wow.
like over and over and over again until it started sinking in.
Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
so,
that's what I like what you just said.
yeah,
If you get it and it's not working right,
it's not
find
working.
out why. Let's keep doing it.
Yes. And so
Wow.
the 8 weeks would be over, and I'd be like,
Right.
I got to take this again. I got to take this again. So when me doing all of these modules
Okay.
with these are groups that you
Okay.
do.
Okay.
These are groups. It finally started seeing. Now, mind you, this is 25 years in the making of me, and
Correct. Correct.
I'm still doing the work.
Correct. Correct.
I am still doing
But
the work.
one thing you have added that is making your life so much better. You added laugh therapy.
I did, I did. As a matter of fact, let me tell you. So I was retired when you came to the VA to do your therapy, and
Okay.
so what happens is once you're in therapy, your doctors will recommend stuff for you.
Okay.
So my doctor was like, you know what? You've done a lot of this like hard work. Let me get you into some recreational therapy. And
Mm.
so they then say, well, hey, they're having comedy at the VA. We think you should go and and lift some of this stuff off of you.
Correct.
So I was coming as a veteran that day,
Wow.
recommended by my doctor.
Come on
Yes,
now.
yes,
I told
I
y'all
know.
I'm a
See what
resource.
I'm See what I'm saying? And so who knew that
Right.
me coming in? And so that's the thing. When you've done the hard work, like all those modules that I have, you have to then come and say, okay, what can I do that's going to be recreational?
Correct. Correct. And
So
and
here comes you.
and you the recreation queen.
Well, it comes at a cost though.
What?
I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. It comes
Okay.
at a cost. So I post a lot on Facebook about my wellness journey.
Correct.
I do go on vacation a lot, but it takes a lot out of my mental health to be out here living out loud, as I say.
Correct.
Like I have to recover every time I do that.
But
That's the thing people don't see that I have to once I'm outside like that,
right.
it takes me 2 or 3 weeks to come back in and be like, okay, I just need to be still. I need to be quiet. I need to get back into my work.
Okay.
Because if I don't, you go down a slippery slope. Like my days are kind of set up of I get up in the morning, I
Mm-hmm.
do my meditation, I do
Mm-hmm.
my affirmations, I go to the gym, and then I'm doing some sort of group therapy every
Okay.
day,
Every day.
still,
Okay.
every day. So the VA has programs where they're drop-in basis,
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have to go every week.
Okay.
Some of them are peer-led. So I do that every week.
Okay, wow.
Every week.
And see,
Yeah.
but that's what I love because you know what you need to do to
Yeah.
stay where you are because you have people who are dependent on you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I can tell when I'm not okay. Like if I don't go out of the house, or I'm starting to gain weight,
Right.
or I don't answer the phone,
Mm-hmm.
or I haven't taken a shower in a couple days, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, your mental health needs
Correct.
attention. So
Correct.
I try really hard to stay, even though I don't have a job, I feel like it's my job to get up and to do, because people think it's easy just to get up and go to the gym. No, it's like,
No, you know. Listen, y'all. She used to be my accountability. I would have to text her my if I went walking or not. So I had my wife doing it at home, and I had somebody doing it on social media.
yeah, it's not easy. Like it's so much easier to stay in the bed
It
or to
is.
sit on the couch.
It
It's
is.
not. It's
Trust
not.
me.
It's what my days look like now is that the VA has kind of switching over to a lot of holistic care.
Mm-hmm.
So my weeks consist of acupuncture every week. I
Mm-hmm.
have them like I don't know if you can see it, but they're in my ears
Okay.
every single week, and it helps with pain management,
Mm-hmm.
mood, and emotional eating or any kind of emotion like
Oh,
whether it's drugs, alcohol. It kind of brings that craving down.
that emotional eating. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So that I do the
that's mine.
acupuncture. I get a massage every week that's paid for by the VA every
Mm-hmm.
single week. It's
That's
part of
right.
their whole holistic.
That's right.
I go to relaxation group, which is amazing. I hope that any veteran that's out here listening will take advantage of these programs because the VA
Correct.
hasn't always had this whole holistic approach. They
Correct.
push meds, they push meds, they push
Mm-hmm.
meds. But now they're like, hey, wait, there's a whole holistic piece to this too.
Right. I'm going to try yoga therapy. I'm
Yes,
trying
yoga
that next
therapy is
week.
fantastic.
I
How
think
are
it's
you?
yeah. I'm trying that next week in Virginia Beach.
Is
I'm
it
going.
in person?
Yeah, in person. Yep.
Oh, you gotta let me know how that
Okay,
is.
I will. I'm gonna let you know how it is. So yeah, I'm trying it.
But
Listen,
don't be like one of those people that be like in yoga and you'd be like, I gotta go to the grocery store. I gotta cook
uh-uh.
dinner. Oh, I gotta do that. Because your mind will not.
I'm just hoping on past games. That's the only thing. That's they be doing all these little moves and bending up and,
Yeah, you gonna pass gas.
and that's
You are gonna pass gas. You
but
are going to
listen,
pass gas.
but you just came off of something that was amazing that I'm not gonna do anymore because I did it so much in the military. You went camping.
I did what's different,
Well, black
Bernard.
people go camping. Black people don't go camping. You was the only black person out there camping. I was scared
I
for you. I'm about to
was.
call the people. I'm about to say they gonna get her.
I, well, I'm so glad you mentioned that because Leslie Irby, who is the founder of Climb 4,
Okay.
people don't realize when you get out in nature and
Mm-hmm.
you unplug the quietness that you
Yes.
get from being around like-minded people where you can just sit around a campfire
Mm-hmm.
and just be there for each other. You don't even have
Right.
to talk if you don't want to. It's just
Mm.
it's an unplugged thing that we as African Americans don't do. But
Correct.
I'm
Correct.
telling you, I did have my peace with me,
Yeah. Cause the bears and everything out there.
because
Yeah.
the bears and everything.
Yeah.
It's different. It was my first time, but
Okay.
not my last.
Right.
I mean, sleeping under the stars with no phone, no
Mm-hmm.
TV,
Mm-hmm.
no nothing
Wow.
does wonders for your mental health.
I
It,
believe
it
it.
really does.
I believe it.
I hope that you take advantage of it.
Yeah, I might. But that's one thing I like about you though. You will try. You will
I will try.
try it if it's going to benefit your mental health, if it's going to
Yeah.
benefit you, at least you're going to try it.
Well, a lot of the things that you see me post on Facebook, like the skiing, the kayaking, all that's
Mm-hmm.
VA program. Like the VA has a whole recreational therapy where you can scuba dive, you can ski, you can kayak, you can fish, you can go camping. All this is because of my recreational therapist at the VA. Who
Wow.
knew?
That's what I'm going to get next.
He
A
calls me every
recreational.
week and gives me a rundown of what's going on. And I just missed the Redskins training camp that they had last week because I was on vacation.
Okay.
They had a Redskins training camp where the veterans could go up and spend time with the Redskins. Or they're not
The
Redskins anymore.
Commanders, yeah.
Commanders.
Yeah. They could have paid me to go up there. I wouldn't have
They
went.
could you wouldn't know it. But
No,
stuff
I would
like
have
that
went.
that they're doing for veterans to get
Right.
out of the house, it does wonders for your mental health.
It
So
does.
yeah, it
It
does.
does. Hey, let's check out a commercial from the sponsor. of tonight's podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Rebecca with a K. Just a reminder to go on www.shop.Collection so you can get your own bottle of Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. It goes on everything, literally everything. I put it on salad, I put it on fruit. Of course, you can put it on your meats and your vegetables. Again, that's Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. Grab your bottle at www.shopGeneEllenCollection.com.
Now, back to the podcast interview. Listen, y'all, we talking to Miss Kesha Bruington here today, y'all. And I still want to say this podcast is not intended to replace professional or medical advice. If at any time you feel triggered, please take a break. So, yes. So what has been, besides all that, what do you say? I know you said you journal.
I do.
But what has been your most successful resource or support for you in managing your mental health? Is that journaling? Is that a beautiful thing?
It is a beautiful thing. There's lots of tools. I can't even pinpoint one.
Right.
My whole treatment team plays a vital part.
I love you say treatment team.
Treatment team. I have a whole team, and you have to cultivate this team for yourself.
Correct. You do. Correct.
You really do. People will walk into a new therapist and don't like them, and they'll stay. And I'm like, you have choices. Like, you get to pick the therapist. You don't have to stay. Like, I remember when my longtime therapist for years, she retired, and I was heartbroken. And so I had to get a new person.
Right.
I walk into the office, and it's a guy.
Okay.
And he makes one statement, and I was like, I'm going to politely decline your services.
You have to be an advocate for yourself.
You have to be an advocate for yourself. And so when I tell you that my treatment team is one that I cultivated for myself, I really had to, and even there's been times where I even had to go to the director's office and make a complaint. Wow. Because they'll say, well, we gave you a therapist and you didn't like the therapist. You can't just go out here. I'm like, me and a therapist didn't mesh, so I need somebody else.
Correct.
So so you have to advocate for.
You really do. You have to
really
advocate for. Man,
you
listen.
Really do.
This is one thing I always ask people too, but I think I'm a hold that. No, I'm gonna ask you right now. How have your faith played a part in your mental health recovery? Yeah, huh? The one God healed, huh? I see the shirt. Come on now.
The one God healed.
Yes, sir.
The one God healed, courtesy of the Ginger Simpson.
Yes.
Of Ginger Simpson Ministries. I'm gonna give her a little plug here.
Okay.
But yes, the one God healed. It's funny you asked that, Bernard, because before I got diagnosed with PTSD, and I was just kind of symptomatic on my own, I would go to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. And every time they had altar call, I would go up there in tears. God, please take this off of my back.
Right.
I mean, literally every Sunday. And I would cry. I would get prayed over. And I would think in that minute that, I got prayed over. I've been at the altar. I'm good. Walked out of church just like I walked in, the same exact way every Sunday.
Okay.
And I was like, what is going on, Lord? I am laying this at your feet. And I am not getting any relief. And the whole time he was waiting on me to do the work. He was like, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to open this door for you.
Yes.
But you got to walk through it.
Yes.
I have given you retirement.
Come on now.
I've given you time.
Come on now.
I've given you space. You got to do the healing, baby girl.
You got to.
You have to do the healing. I'm gonna make a way for you.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna do the work. You have to do the work. And so it's funny how spirituality and mental health go hand in hand.
Correct.
Yes, God helped me, but I had to do the work.
That's
like
what I
faith
say.
without work is dead. It's dead.
You got to do the work.
You have to do the work. Now, mind you, all these things that lined up for me to have this freedom to do the work, that was all God.
Right.
Because most people do not walk off a job.
Yeah. Just walk
the favor.
Just come back. Come on now.
Not a government job.
Right.
Not a government. You do not.
People probably thought you was crazy. Because when I left my job, people thought you gonna leave that good government job?
The good government job?
Man, y'all gonna see me. Y'all gonna see me on CNN. That's what y'all gonna see me on CNN getting locked up.
Yeah, I was like, God was like, listen, I did all these things. I lined your treatment team up.
Right.
I gave you space. I gave
Come
you
on
time,
now.
but you won't do this work.
Come on now.
You are going to do this work. And when I tell you, I was at rock bottom doing the work,
Okay.
I'm not even the same mom that I am today.
Mm.
Like I was unavailable to my
Yeah.
older.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
bet.
would I would
I
go in
understand
my
that.
room, close the door,
Mm-hmm.
do not bother me. I'm not available. It was all because I was in my mess.
Right.
I was
Right.
emotional eating. I was sleeping with a lot of men,
Okay.
trying to cover the
Come
pain.
pain. That's right.
You
Wow.
know, and the guy's like, keep on doing what you're doing to see how far that gets you.
Mm. Come on now.
Yeah, see how far
Woo.
that gets you. So because of my treatment team,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Woo, because of my treatment team, and those could only be like the angels that God placed around me
Correct. Correct.
because they went to bat for me. Like I'm
Correct.
not kidding. Like I don't even think it's normal the
Mm.
amount of treatment
Oh,
that I received.
what you're talking about right there, that is the team. And no, it is,
No,
yeah.
it's not.
But
And I
you
could even,
but you put yourself in a place to receive that though.
I did. I prayed for it.
Right.
I prayed for it.
Okay.
I prayed for all of this stuff that people see me post on Facebook. They
Mm-hmm.
don't really know that it took me 25 years
Correct.
of all of this therapy, and I'm still in therapy. So the thing I don't like about what the VA is doing now is because so many veterans are coming through the system,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have time for unlimited therapy anymore. They just don't have the resources and the staff. So I got unlimited therapy.
Okay.
Like I'm talking 20 years of therapy.
Mm-hmm. Me, yeah.
So now they have um, time-based therapy where you get like 6 or 8 weeks and then you have to go.
Wow.
So yeah, because they don't have the time, they don't have the staff or the time or the resources to because there's so many veterans coming through.
That is so new. I did not know that.
Yeah, and so my therapist, the one that I have now, she's like, "Well, Keisha, um, I don't know how to break this to you, but I'm gonna have to release you."
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
"What?" Because they will not let veterans just stay in therapy. It has to be a module-based therapy for 6 to 8 weeks, and then you have to move on to allow the next veteran to come
Come
through.
in. Oh, okay.
So so it's new. This is a new module that they're doing. And I was like, you're what? I've had like 25 years of therapy. You just got she's like, I'm not gonna let you go like that. I'm gonna hold on until you can transition out into the civilian community.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am out in the civilian community looking for a therapist, and I'm
Right.
like, oh, they're not gonna be like my
Mm-hmm.
VA therapist. And one of my friends told me about blackgirltherapy.com,
Okay.
which is like a resource where they list all the Black therapists across the US.
Mm-hmm.
And my therapist didn't have to be Black. I just started there. She could have been white
Correct.
because my original therapist was Caucasian. So
Correct.
race didn't really matter to me. But the first therapist that I chose, I read her bio,
Okay.
and she is fantastic.
Good.
And my VA therapist is still has me on the string.
Okay.
Like I see her like every 2 months just to check in to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I'm having a smooth transition with my civilian therapist.
That's good. See, because I had to go to the vet center. I went to the
And how
vet.
is that?
Oh, that's beautiful. I had my therapist there for. I
You
had
have a
the. I
team?
still have a VA therapist, but I still
Mhm.
had. I go to the vet center, and what we do group therapy too. So
Yes.
every two
Every.
weeks we do
Hmm.
a Zoom call with me, her, and 4 other vets that we have been doing it for. I don't know, about 4, 5
Isn't that
years.
such an amazing space?
Oh my goodness! I mean, she have helped me with when my daughter went to college. You know, my
Yeah.
anxiety was over the roof, and she's the main thing she told me. She said the first time your daughter called you with a incident, the way you react is going
Yes.
to dictate how she going to tell you anything.
Emotion regulation, the way that you're going to
Ah, ah. So people can say, man, you still in a therapy. People gonna say she's still going to a therapist. Mind your own business, and that's what I
Mind
like
your own
about
business.
you, Keisha. You don't
Yeah.
care what folks think. Listen,
Mm-mm.
y'all don't know where I've been.
You don't know where I've been. And I've had layers of trauma. So
Okay.
sometimes when you've had layers of trauma, you still, that stuff still is there. It's
Mm-hmm.
still floating around. You know what I mean? It shows up. So when you stay in therapy, you have somebody that you can talk to, you have a
That's
safe
right.
space,
That's
you have
right.
somebody who can help you sort out those emotions.
That's
It
right.
doesn't have to be all bad.
Right.
Therapy can just be like you're talking to your friend.
There you go. There
You
you
know, just like
go.
we're talking. That's how therapy can be. Like you're talking to
Just to
one of your
get you to
friends.
understand certain things.
Yes, like
Because
they make you look at it in a whole different
whole
way.
different way. Whole different way. Because
Whole
when my
different
wife
way.
had went to therapy, she looked at it from, well, how does the other person feel? We always worrying about how we feel and
Yes.
how it was done to us, but what
Yeah.
about that other person?
About the other
How
person.
that
Yeah.
person because my major thing was when my parents got divorced at 12, that mess my world was gone to
So
me.
you can relate to what I just posted about
Yes.
yeah.
So I had to get back in touch with, why I was certain way, why
Yes, the
it makes you,
beginning.
yes, it makes you realize why you a certain way, why you attracted to this person, why you attracted to
Yes,
this.
yes,
We
yes.
have to. We have to break that
You
cycle.
have to rip that band-aid off. And I'm so
Yes.
glad you shared that, Bernard, because when I was in treatment, I had to go back to that. The
Yeah.
whole that because that shaped the trajectory of my life.
That's
All the
right.
bad choices I've made stem from
Mm-hmm.
the person I was when my parents divorced because I was lost. I was hurt. I was angry. I had inner child trauma.
Yes.
So now here I am choosing people that are
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy for me because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't heal my childhood traumas.
That's it. That's it. That's why when I went through a divorce, I made sure my kids went to therapy. I
Yeah.
made sure they went through because what people don't realize is when or maybe they do realize, just don't care. Kids are just supposed to go along and get and just be alone. No,
Yeah.
we didn't have no voice growing up. You couldn't
You
say
didn't have a
nothing.
voice.
You
You couldn't
couldn't
say
say
anything.
how you felt. So you
Mm-mm.
carry that. So I allowed my kid, tell me how you feel. I
Yeah.
know, and my daughter.
Unheard of, right?
Yes. And my daughter shared some things with me, boy. She was like, woo. Yeah. Because
And but it's so important that you made space for her to have those feelings.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, because me as a comedian, or me, most of my life, what I did was instead of dealing with stuff, I would make a joke about it and laugh it off.
Yeah.
So I never
Yeah.
really dealt with anything. I
Yeah,
was
with
just
that.
right. So, I made a joke or two when he was going through
Mhm.
divorce, and she like, no, you hurt me when I was that age. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
She said,
That part.
yeah.
Yeah.
She said, no, you called me a drama queen, but my parents is getting divorced. Wow.
Right. Oh,
I didn't,
see what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
couldn't,
Yeah.
I didn't. Wow. So yeah,
I
we
know.
have to, we have to make spaces for our kids now because
You
there's
have
so
to.
much going on that we didn't have to deal with. We didn't have to deal with no cell phones and bullies and,
Mm-mm.
and all that, so yeah.
And not
So
just that, when we do this, like these conversations and talking about mental health, that helps our kids. So as they grow up,
yes,
they can see, okay, my dad
yes,
he spoke about this. It's you know what I'm saying? Like
yes,
all these things that you're doing will help them as they grow. I mean,
right.
it's just
We're
you don't
normalizing
understand
therapy.
and normalizing therapy.
That's right.
Yes,
We're
yes,
normalizing therapy.
normalizing therapy.
And there's still
I
some
love
people that
it.
just ain't gonna get it. Okay, well, just don't get it.
No, but I can't even tell you how many people come in my inbox and say,
Right.
you know what,
Yeah.
keep posting. I'm right there with you. But you would never know. They don't talk about it.
Right.
They don't talk about
That's
it.
true.
And like I said, this is second chance for me because I almost lost my life. So it's almost like I have to. I
Right.
have to.
Right. Because
Yeah.
God gives us assignments and we don't have to always like the assignment. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We are basically putting ourselves out here for people. Right now you put yourself out for everybody. If you post when you post something, there's always somebody like, all she doing is posting, posting, posting,
I
posting.
know.
All she doing is
I,
posting. Oh, she posting, she in
I know.
Florida. Oh,
They
she
don't.
posting, she
They don't
snorkeling.
get it.
Oh
They don't
yeah.
even understand how years ago I couldn't even leave the house.
Right.
I mean that part. They don't
Right.
understand that what it takes for me to even get up in the morning.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like sometimes I have to pry myself up
That's
and
right.
affirm myself and make myself and get because you can do all this work and in an instant you're still right back to where you started.
That's true. That's true.
People don't understand that mental health work is it stays with you.
Yes.
It stays with you. Like there's times when I can't even get out of bed,
Yeah.
and
I,
people don't believe that. They see all of this, like, what do you mean? I can't get
I
out of bed. My depression will not allow me to
correct.
live. And when that happens, I make space for that. Like, you know what? Whatever my body needs, I'm gonna give it a
Mm-hmm.
day. But
Mm-hmm.
after that day, I got to fight back to
Mm-hmm.
get myself back.
And I
Yeah.
see, and I know with you also, I have good accountability partners. I have good.
Hmm.
I mean, if I'm tripping or if my wife won't even deal with me. She'll call one of my boys and say, "Hey, your boy tripping. He don't want.
Yeah.
He talking about quitting comedy. He
Yeah.
don't want to. He don't want to do. He don't want to do
Right, right.
this." She be like, "Y'all deal with it." So here come a
Yeah, yeah,
phone
yeah.
call.
I've been dealing with them.
Yeah, here come
Yeah.
a phone call, and so what's going on with man? I know she done called y'all, man. So you got to have, those the kind of people who can speak truth into you, and they don't care about your feelings, how you listen, bruh. Yeah, so yeah, that's man. It has been great. It has been great talking to Miss Kesha, y'all. Listen, y'all, follow her on social media, y'all. I'm gonna give her all her social media later, but I gotta ask this last question.
Okay.
Is there anything you wish people understood better about mental health?
That's a good question
I know it is. I
because
asked it.
it's a good question, especially in today's society, because we've seen Fletch,
Mm.
we've seen Kate Spade,
Mm.
we've seen Robin Williams,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole list of other people who are in the spotlight, who
Mm-hmm.
are laughing
Mm-hmm.
in on stage, on movies,
Mm-hmm.
in your face,
Mm-hmm.
happy one day. Matter of fact, Stitch was dancing. Is it
The day
Stitch? Is that
before. I think it was the day
the day
before, right?
before?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He was dancing and laughing with his family, and you would see just happiness. That's the thing that I wish people would understand is that um, check on your people.
Yes.
You know, it saddens me that people have to take their life, that they're that
Correct.
much of
Correct.
pain
Correct.
with their life.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I just wish that people would understand is that treat people with love and
Mm-hmm.
kindness. You never know what they're going through.
You
You
never
never
know.
know what they're going through. I mean, I've had to really bring in my circle
Okay.
um, to keep out the people that were not healthy for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they know, like if I'm not answering the phone or if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, they're like, okay, we got to check on Keish.
Right.
She's not, you know, she's not okay.
Right. Some people
Yeah.
are just not healthy for you.
They're
Period.
not healthy for you.
It's
But the ones that are there for you, they'll are the ones that can say, "Hey, Keish, are you okay?" Because
right.
I think I'm sensing this about you, and then like I'll be like, "Oh gosh, yes, I'm not okay."
Right.
Like so that's the one thing I wish that people would do with their friends and their families, and to speak up if you're not okay. Like it's okay to say I'm not okay.
I am not
I
okay.
am not okay. Like
Please.
I can look like this and still go cry in the corner,
That's right.
and that's okay.
That's right.
That's
And
okay.
it's even worse with me as a comedian because people think I'm supposed to be on all the time,
All the time.
which
Yeah.
95% of the time I am, but it's just that 5% sometimes
That
I
five
just
percent.
just want to
Yeah.
be
Yeah. You just want to be, and that's okay. That's what's
right.
so great
I have
about your
learned.
platform.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's so great about your platform is that you are going to be who you are, and
Right.
whoever feels whatever, they're just going to feel whatever.
That's right.
You
Because
you you are you are allowed to have that 5%.
that's right. And my family, my mom and them already know. She like, Vernard ain't got no patience. I'm just telling you right now. I asked my other son for something Vernard doing. And hey,
Yeah.
that long as you know,
Long
I'm
as
not
you
gonna
know.
be disrespectful or anything, but I got to, hey, come on, let's get it done.
Yeah. You're
So
done. Yeah.
but
Same. 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 Same.
but listen, we're gonna end on a funny note right now. We're gonna end on a
Okay.
funny note. But give folks all your social media information. How can people find you?
Well, I'm not really. I don't have a big platform. You know. I don't.
You do. You don't know. You have a platform.
Okay.
So follow
Okay.
her. Follow her.
So
Follow you.
my Facebook is Keesh KEESH capital K capital B Keesh KB.
Keesh
On
KayBee.
Instagram, I am Keish Renee KESHRENA.
Okay.
And I'm TikTok. I don't know what I am because my daughter got my TikTok account, so
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, gonna
yeah,
be a
yeah,
lot of
yeah. So
single brothers be like, "Hey, Keesh, how you doing?"
so
uh, but since you bring up your daughter, this is the funny part we're gonna be talking about. Keisha has a daughter who's gonna be in school, and I need for y'all to pray for Keisha because she gonna have to start doing homework. She gonna she gonna start right doing all the checking papers. And see, the reason I'm laughing because I'm empty nester. I don't have no school supplies this year. I ain't got to take
You
no
have my
first
demeanor
day.
just changed.
Yeah, I ain't got to
My
take no
whole
first.
demeanor thought.
You could do it, Keesh. You could do it.
No, like these teachers don't care about older parents. Like I'm not kidding. Like literally, Bernard. Like my daughter will come home with math,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Oh, I don't understand." Okay, well, let me show you. I'm pretty good at math. Show her the way that I learned it, and the teacher will mark it
Oh
wrong.
yeah. Oh, we can't. Yeah.
She'll be like, "Oh, no, 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 that is not the way I
Oh
taught
yeah.
it. I'm gonna need you to teach her the way." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of kids who realize that their parents' degree was honorary.
yeah."
He'd be like, "Oh, that's an honorary degree right there. You ain't go to
Yeah,
school.
it's
You don't
honorary.
know
And
nothing."
it's so bad that my daughter will come and be like, "You made me get an F on my homework." I'd be like, "Bruh, I didn't help her and helped her get an F on her homework."
Wow. Well, listen,
Yeah.
thank you for being on the PTSD, Processing Traumatic Situation Differently podcast. And I want to thank you for processing your trauma in a way that's healthy for you. All right. So any parting words to the people?
Well, I just want to say that I am incredibly, incredibly proud of you.
Thank you very much. And
I
I'm
want you
proud
to
of you
keep
also.
doing this work, Bernard. I am every time I see you get your accolades and get your flowers, it just warms my heart because I know how we met.
Right.
So I feel like you are going to be blessed tenfold. You and your wife Trish. I just appreciate both of y'all, all the funny skits that you guys do. I mean, literally, I'm just so happy to see you out here letting God use you the way that He is via comedy. And I am going to be at your comedy show tonight laughing. And so I just want to say I'm incredibly proud of you, sir.
All
And I
right.
just want
Well,
to
thank
thank
you.
you for having me on. This is the first for me, but not the last.
Correct. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
right now you are released from the stigma-free zone.
Oh, yes. I love it. All right. Bye.
Hey everybody, it's Rebecca with a K. Just a reminder to go on www.shopGeneLandCollection so you can get your own bottle of Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. It goes on everything, literally everything. I put it on salad, I put it on fruit. Of course, you can put it on your meats and your vegetables. Again, that's Ophelia's Creole Razzle Dazzle seasoning. Grab your bottle at www.shopGeneLandCollection.com.